Good morning, beloveds. I fuss with the angle just a little bit because I'm not centered in the frame. Okay, all right. We had some wild weather overnight, and I woke up twice. And one time I woke up after our power had been out and come back on and been on for about 45 minutes. The next time I woke up and then the power went out. And there was thunder and lightning and, all kinds of fun. And it's supposed to clear up by noon today. So hopefully you didn't have as eventful of a night as I did. So, all right. We have an interesting title today. I say that a lot, though. We often have interesting titles, though. So, it is April 10th. Our title is Mind versus Mental. And our author is Malinda Elliott Cramer. It has 1890 in parentheses, and then it says it was published in Present at the Beginning in 2014. So, if you want to read more, Present at the Beginning. Okay, mind versus mental. Intuition is perception of the possibility of mind. Intellect is the perception of the possibility of the mental. Knowledge is inherent in mind. Perception is inherent in mind. Seeing is mental. Consciousness is inherent in mind. Feeling is confined to the mental. Idea is the possibility of mind. Inherent intent or motive is the possibility of the mental. The science of expression is a trinity in unity from spirit to nature. Spirit is the only expressor. The mental is the medium of expression and nature the effect, or in an individual sense. Spirit the thinker. Thought the expression of spirit, and word its outward appearance. Thought must be representative of being if sensation be agreeable to consciousness. Intellect is sense culture relative to things, unless illumined by intuition. We cannot use truth, but can adjust all things to truth. Truth is eternal. Error only seems to be where faith is unrecognized. Error only seems to be where faith is unrecognized. If we think thoughts of love, there is nothing between our thought and God, between the mental and that which it images. Mistake in the example is not born of principle. God cannot recognize itself in the opposite of its attributes. Perversity is a self-notion. So occasionally I read those and then I put the book down and I go away and think about it because I have no idea what I just read. Oh, none whatsoever. I believe Malinda Elliott Cramer is Divine Science. I'm not going to stake my reputation on that. Not that I have a reputation, but you know what I mean. I'm old enough to remember when, we had actual phones, like either push buttons or rotary dials. And you remember the satisfaction of slamming a phone down after a frustrating conversation? That's kind of how I feel right now. I would like to slam the phone down after reading that. I have no idea. Oh my goodness. All right. And my allergies have been giving my eyes fits. And so reading wasn't exactly easy this morning either. So, all right. She did say one thing in here that made sense to me. If we think thoughts of love, there is nothing between our thought and God, between the mental and that which it images. Other than that, I'm like, she's trying to make an equivalency, which I don't have the the background for. Ernest Holmes defines the spirit, soul, and law in one way, and frequently I get them confused. Lately, I have many, many gifts and talents. I do. And we have found that I have a couple of glaring, I cannot do them. I'm a terrible speller. And part of the reason why I'm a terrible speller is I'm mildly dyslexic. So that doesn't help either. But I'm just a terrible speller. And I understand this. And occasionally I'll type words like I typed mental into this title and it didn't look right. So I checked the book to make sure I had spelled it right. So, the other thing that we have found that I have a glaring error, I can read a map, I can navigate, but if you ask me where something is on and handed me a map, and a world map, if you ask me where something was on a world map, I'm probably not gonna get close. I might know that the country you're talking about is on the African continent, but where in the African continent? I have no idea. Let's talk about Eastern Europe. I got nothing. I did not realize that the Bohemia was an actual country. It's no longer exists, but it was a country. What? So sometimes when I read these, it makes me feel better because I don't, it's just what? I have no idea. But what that means is that I heard when I was in school, I heard the growing edge. And I was like, oh, it just means that's where my work is to be done. So whatever she's talking about, what? So obviously in science of mind, we don't use mental versus mind. Now, I will remind you that each time she said mental and each time she said mind, she used the capital. So she was talking about spirit. She was talking about the divine mind. And I think she was trying to say, look, all of these are qualities in God. And you have access to them. All right? You have access to them. But let's talk about what's actually inherent to God and what are things that are coming from us. And it's important that we understand that there are things that are inherent in God that we have the ability to use, but we don't always know we do. Or we may be using them, but we're not using them to their full potential because we're not aware of them. All right? How many of us have been taught not to trust our intuition? And yet, according to her, intuition is, she called it part of the mind? Intuition is a perception of the possibility of mind. All right. So, but many of us have been taught that our intuition is wrong. Now, this may be a particularly female experience. I'm not sure if you are, a man or any, or identify as something other than female. You can tell me, is it different for you? But as women, we are often told to discount our intuition. And yet, it's the one thing that often keeps us safe. And it is of God. It's the perception of the possibilities in mind. It doesn't mean that what we intuit will happen. It just means that it could if certain conditions are met. And so, it's a valuable tool that is worth us at least entertaining. I mean, if your intuition has you running like Chicken Little, screaming that the sky is coming down, you have some work to do. But, and frequently, if your intuition is warning you off of something that could be a negative experience, you'll never know if you avoid the negative experience if your intuition was right. So, frequently what you want to do is hone it on. Your intuition is telling you this is going to be a good thing. Because then if you follow that intuition and it bears out, then you'll have more faith when it warns you off of a negative situation. So, knowledge is inherent in mind, okay? Because we believe in an omniscient. We believe that the divine is present everywhere and every when in its creation. Okay, so knowledge is inherent in mind. Therefore, you have access to far more knowledge than you think you do, which then rolls back into that intuition. So, I'm not sure about reasoning belonging to the mental, because I get there's inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning, and we can do both, and mind, meaning the divine, can only do one, because mind can't step outside of itself to do the other. So, that may be where she's going with reason belonging to the mental. It's a quality of us because we have that illusion of separation. So, perception is inherent in mind. Seeing is mental. And she might be saying that, and this is a guess on my part. She might be saying that because she is, what am I thinking? She might be saying that because she's, the material world. And here I'm gonna use the, let me put the book down. The material around is an illusion. It's not an illusion, okay? It's real. It's just constantly coming into form and out of form, and and everybody's perception of, everybody sees something slightly differently because our brains all interpret it slightly differently. That's what I mean by illusion. It's not an illusion. It's real, okay? Don't let anybody convince you that the material world is a complete and total illusion, or a hologram, or a holograph, or whatever they want to call it. It's like, no, it's real. It's just everybody has a slightly different perspective, so nobody sees the same thing. And that's one of the things you need to bear in mind when you were talking to other people about reality. Because there's the capital R reality, which is the reality of the divine. And then each one of us have our own lowercase reality, because that's the world that we create with our attitudes. All right. I wonder if I ever did go get that meme. I need to do that. Okay. Especially before I forget who I saw it from. Let's see. Consciousness is inherent to mind. Feeling is confined to mental. Yeah, no, that feeling is definitely ours. And idea is the possibility of mind. Intent or motive is the possibility in mental. That makes sense. Like, the idea is definitely, in mind, whereas our intent, the reason why we do things is definitely mental. All right. Okay. And I like that she says the science of expression is a trinity in unity. What? From spirit to nature. Spirit is the only expressor. Mental is the medium of the expression, and nature the effect or the individual sense. Oh, so yeah, kind of. It's one of those readings that makes you want to throw it across the room and go, what did I just read? All right, we cannot use truth. That's a capital T. We cannot use truth, but can adjust all things to truth. Truth is eternal. Error only seems to be. So, error only seems to be eternal. It's not. It's not. Eventually it will be adjusted to the truth. And that's one of that's one of those things. It's like, no matter what is going on in your life, we talk about coming into alignment, and that's what we want to do. We want to come into alignment with truth with a capital T, because we all have our own truth with a lowercase t. But if we want our world, if we want to work at the highest capacity possible, then we need to align our lowercase t truth with the uppercase T truth of the divine, which is the whole point of spiritual practice. It is about coming into alignment. We can't use the truth, but we darn sure know it when we see it, and it is up to us to come into alignment with it. All right. Mistake is the example. In the example is not born a principle. God cannot recognize itself in the opposite of its attributes, which goes to say God can't judge. God can't judge because God can't step outside of what God is to judge. which then also means because we live and move and have our being in God, in the divine, then the divine can't judge us either. Not that the divine would want to, because the divine is not a personality. All right. Yeah. So Malinda, Elliott, Cramer, and it's Mal, M-A-L, Malinda, Cramer, Elliott Cramer. And this was published in Present at the Beginning. So if you're interested in that, maybe go look it up. Sometimes when they cut short pieces out like that, when we take things out of context, they don't make as much sense. So that was powerful, but what did I just read? So I like it when I read reading. I love readings that are easy. But I also love readings that are hard. I like readings that make me put the book down and go, what did I just read? Because it means that it's an exercise for me. I'm exercising that mental muscle, and, I'm digging deeper into the truths that in this case, foremothers are teaching me, and it's going to inform how I move forward. All right. So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it? It's one of those things. Go read something that makes you go, what did I just read? So that you work on it. Go do that. It's worth the exercise. And I have no problem telling people I don't know. I don't. And frequently I will say, well, I don't know the answer, but let me see if I can find out for you. And I wish I could remember what book it was from. I'll have to Google it. Because it was an elder talking to a younger person about to set out. And it's like, I can't tell you that. Some answers I can give you now. Some answers, you'll find for yourself. And some answers we'll never know, and that's just the way life is. But it's worth exploring. And so, some answers you'll be given in time. Some answers you'll find out for yourself. And some answers we'll just never know. And that's okay. That's okay. That's part of what makes life interesting. So go read something that makes you go home. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day. It is the spiritual practice of self-care. I like the phrase of it, the rhythm of daily prayer, the rhythm of daily practice. One of our authors in April, I think, said that. Could have been the end of March. I don't know. I read these things every day. I don't know. But do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever it looks like. Big, small, doesn't matter. The point is to practice on yourself. Especially if you're going to go and read something that makes you go, huh? All right? So, definitely take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. All right. I think that's my spiel today. So, quick housekeeping. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So I encourage you to go and like and subscribe and follow and share and comment. And because apparently if it's at least a 5-word comment, it bumps us in the algorithms. So, use extra words. I don't know. Whatever makes you happy. All right. Where was I? Oh, and then I'm going to remind you that if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. All right. I got started late, so I need to wrap this up because I need to be out of the house pretty soon. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a middle of the week day, a getting ready for the weekend day. A go dance in the rain day, a don't drive through deep puddles day, a wrap up some projects day, a read something that makes you go, what day, a do something nice for yourself day, a loving day, a kind day, a compassionate day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough. just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. All right? Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because I can make you one promise. It's the only promise I can make you. There's not a pie crust promise. If you don't know what a pie crust promise is, you haven't watched Mary Poppins. Easily made, easily broken. Okay? The person that the divine knows you to be is good. Okay? From there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.